Oh, oh my gosh, Greg.
Hey
I turned away
now,
for 1 second and look,
gotta keep an eye on me.
you become so distinguished.
We're gonna make this a really fun second anniversary.
That's right. That's right. They need to know that it is maybe not technically our second, it's like our second anniversary observed.
Yeah.
You know what, though? We haven't officially started the show. Let's talk about that when we officially start the show.
Okay.
Just give me a minute. I just got to make sure everything's all copacetic with the recording.
Hi everybody on
And
YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
yeah, that's right. Thank you for joining us. I'm so bad at multitasking.
As you can see, Allison does all the technical stuff, and I am
Greg
more
provides the yucks. You're the idea. What
punch
are
up
you?
guy.
Okay, I think that I can now collapse that. Okay. All right. And now time for us to play the music and then to really get into all of it. Here we go.
Childish, oh shit. Last time I checked, I was still a kid. Childish, childish. This all freaks me out a bit. Childish, oh shit. How can I parent when I'm still a kid? Childish, oh shit. Who the hell decided I was ready for this? Childish, oh shit. This is like a job that I cannot quit. Childish, oh shit. Maybe I should have gotten fixed.
Hey, I'm Greg Fitzsimmons.
I'm Allison Rosen.
And for 2 years now, we've been childish.
We've been childish. We've been bringing the heat every single and sometimes every other week. They said we can't do it. We won't be able to continue. And we've proven them wrong every single time.
They said we couldn't do it every week. And you know what? They were right.
They were right about that part. But
the only time they were right.
The only time. And they got falsely confident. And then they took it one step further and they said they can't do it.
Yeah.
And we've done it every fucking time.
Well, it's almost like if you tell us we can't, you're just demanding that we do it.
Right. Because you know what we are? We're contrarian, nonconformists, and we don't like when the man sticks his boot on our neck.
No, that's right. We're Americans, and we're the kind of people that throw tea in the water. We're the kind of people that go into third world countries and try to affect their free elections so we can continue our colonial. Anyway,
look, you're right though. You tell us to wear masks, we say okay, but you tell us that we can't do it, and we say we have to do it now.
And we've done it now. And I've said this to you, and I looked at our past shows, and I thought that today's December 1st when we're recording this. I think it comes out on December 2nd.
That's right. It couldn't be more timely and topical.
I had it in my records that December 1st was our very first episode, but you're telling me it was actually 2 weeks earlier.
Yes.
So we missed our 2-year anniversary, but we're going to treat this as if it is our 2nd-year anniversary show.
Yeah, because we deprived ourselves and you of the chance to celebrate all that together we have built. We built a monument to podcast excellence.
Well,
and parenting excellence, really.
Yeah, I like to think we get a lot of nice emails from you guys, and it feels really good. The Instagrams, the voicemails, and it does feel like we built something in 2 years, and I can't imagine ever stopping. So this is two of many, Allison, 2 of many.
To us. Cheer, everyone at home, cheers. Now, also, let's not forget, though, I built a human.
That's right.
In all this time. Like when we started, there were only 3 childish spawn, and now there's 4. So that's
begs
something.
The question:
will there be another?
Will there be 5?
Not from me. No, I don't. Okay. I don't think so. I actually was just telling Daniel last night that I believe I've made peace with being done having kids. I thought when I was young, I would say I want 2 or 3. And then as I got older, I would say I'll be lucky if I can even have 2. And then I thought that when I had Owen, I thought I was done. I'm done. I've got everything I wanted in terms of children. Of course, it'd be nice to have a daughter, but I'm good with 2. I love these boys. I'm so lucky and grateful to have them. I'm done. And then all of a sudden I got a wild hair up my butt about like, wait a minute, what if I could have another? I don't think it's like biologically possible given how hard it was for me to have these 2, but if I could have another, and 2 is so much fun, maybe 3 would be more fun. And like, I think that Daniel and I are good parents. Maybe it doesn't get more self-congratulatory than and diluted than this, but like, maybe we owe it to the world to, really leave our footprint.
That's right. I mean, with 3, you can get a lot more it's, Aaron didn't want 3 and I did for a while. And then all of a sudden I went, all right, you're right. And then she went, no, I want 3. And I went, no.
Oh no.
Well, I feel like we got a boy, we got a girl. They're both healthy. And we live in LA, which is a very expensive place to raise kids. I mean, you've got to buy Lexapro and SAT
Adderall.
coaching.
Adderall. You got to pay to get them to find someone to take their tests for them.
That's really expensive these days since the shakeup.
You got to get a good lawyer for when you get caught.
Yep.
Yeah, it is expensive. But for real, that's what Daniel kept saying. Like, we would have to change our lifestyle. And I feel like what he means when he says that is you, Allison, would have to make more money. You'd have to find some way to like double your income, because we'd have to get a new house. We'd have to get a new car, like all the accoutrements. And I feel like, but people make it work. But anyway, I entertained the idea for half a minute that like, maybe somehow I should, at least before I get rid of my lady parts, which I someday will, I will sell them though. So I'll let you guys know when that's happening. I was like, maybe I should at least, see if there's any way. And then the other night I was like, I think I've accepted we're just going to have 2. I don't think we're the kind of parents. I think having 3 would be hard for us, because I could be wrong, but my sense is to successfully have 3 children, you should be like pretty good at a schedule, and there's got to be some discipline. And
I have a story later in the news about some people that had a bunch of kids, and we can tackle that.
Right.
Thanksgiving. Talk to me. How was it?
It was good. We quarantined for 2 weeks, got tested, and then went down to see my parents because it was my dad's 87th birthday the day before.
Nice. Congrats. Yes. Wow.
I was perseverating over, I was invited to do a podcast that was going to be recording outside. Yeah. And I initially said yes. And then I asked if we could push it, even though I think that it would have been safe. I was like, I just don't want to be the one who's worried that I'm going to kill my dad.
Right.
Even though I really think it would have been fine. I really went back and forth.
Would have been fine to kill your dad?
87 is a long time.
87 is about 4 years longer than I'd like to be on this planet. I mean, I see these people, there's 60 Minutes did this piece on how people are living longer. They're saying that in 40 years, you will have not even 20 years, you will have a 50% chance of making it to 100.
Wow.
Yes.
Wait, in 20 years?
In 20 years. Any child born 20 years from now will live, they're projecting 100, which is like, look, I'm 54 and I feel like, my big years are behind me and I'm comfortable with that. I don't want to be around 30 years from now. What am I going to do for 30 years? Play golf?
I'm just getting started, babies. Just kidding. I feel like I'm right in the mid zone. Like, I don't even know. I'm having an existential dilemma. Maybe I'll get into that later. But really, because to me, if someone said you have 30 more years, I'd be like, oh, that feels like not enough.
Well, this goes back to me wanting to see a therapist, which we have a good phone call about. We'll talk about later.
Yeah.
My Thanksgiving was very not safe, I should say. We had my nephew and his wife over, and we had my mother in the house, and she's 78. And then a couple friends. It was crazy.
You have friends?
We had 2 friends over as well.
Did you have discussions with them ahead of time
But
at least?
well, they're all people that work from home. The two friends that came over live alone, and they've both been working from home for weeks and haven't been out.
Mhm.
And then my mom came from Florida, but she got tested before she left, and then once she got here.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah, so it was. I was not a good example, but it was just one of those things where we ended up. It just piled on, and but it was a great night. It was a fantastic night. We needed it.
Well, hey, that's cool.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's really not. I mean, it was irresponsible. And
It's
especially
honest.
I'm a hypocrite because I'm
It's
telling
honest is
people.
what it is.
Yeah. I mean, we were outside, so there was that.
Oh, that's
And
good.
people mostly wore masks, obviously not when you're eating, and people were drinking. So the masks were on and off. And we were fairly spaced. But anyway, people stayed late. A lot of wine was drank. Holy shit, like a dozen bottles of wine. It was crazy.
Now, no, go ahead.
And we let JoJo have a couple glasses.
That's what I was going to
Senior
ask.
in high school. The senior in high school. She should be out partying with her friends, and she literally never goes out with her friends. Never. And so a couple glasses of wine on Thanksgiving. Come on, people. Don't judge me.
I love you. What's jingle jangling over there?
Something's jingle jangling?
On your end, yeah, when you move. It sounds like a tiny Santa. It might, I wonder if it's you're not hearing a jangle over there?
No. You're hearing it even now?
No, I'm not hearing it anymore.
Oh. Maybe it's not me moving. Maybe it's something else.
Maybe it's your vibes. Maybe it's your Christmassy vibes.
Yeah, I had my hoop earrings on with the little dangling things, but I took them off specifically before the podcast.
It's just like a soap opera, the way you pull it off dramatically.
Yeah.
Right before we talked. There was something I was going to say, and it had to do with Thanksgiving, and I know. Didn't you do a couple of dates at a comedy club?
I did.
How was that, and where was that?
I went to Tampa, Florida, and I worked at Side Splitters. I don't know who names comedy clubs, but it's got to stop. There's a place called Uncle Nasty's on the Jersey Shore. There's the Stress Factory in Jersey. There's Charlie Goodnights in North Carolina, Stitches in Boston, the Chuckle Hut in Green Bay,
Laugh Factory,
the Laugh Factory in LA,
Laugh Stop,
the Laugh Stop. Then there's a place called the Laugh Spot. So come on, people.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went there, and it was actually really fun. I worked with a guy, JF Harris, who opens for me, who I love, and we got to, watch each other's sets, give each other notes on our sets. I wrote a lot of new stuff. The room was only at half capacity, and my flights were direct. Seat next to me was open both directions.
Now, was that because you flew an airline that did that on purpose, or
Yes.
you just lucked out? Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
And it was good. It was good. I had fun. I felt safe. And then semi-quarantine when I got home and got tested. And I have dates come. I should probably say my dates. I never promote my dates. And the clubs get mad at me.
Make friends with promotion, Greg.
I know.
Do you want to do it now?
Yeah, let's say January 21 through 23, I'll be in Phoenix. January 28th through the 30th, I'll be in Kansas City. February 18th through 21, I'll be in Portland. March 11th through 13, I'll be in Sacramento. And you can go to fitzdog.com and get your tickets. Pick them up. Come out and watch the show. Say hi after the show. And, it'll all be safe. It's all safe.
I bet that if that just went by too fast and they're like, wait, what was that one? If they went to fitzdog.com, would they find these dates?
I'm hoping so. I'm going to make a note right now to update the website.
You got a lot of dates coming up. That's good.
Yeah, I need some money. I had a lot of expenses. We just had the washer shit the bed, and it's stackable. So we got to get a new washer dryer. And then my car, did I tell you about my catalytic converter in my Prius?
No, you did not. How could you forget?
If you don't know this, there is a crime ring on the west side of LA, and they are ripping catalytic converters out of Priuses.
Maybe you did tell me, or maybe I heard someone else, but say it again in case
But
someone
they're doing
needs
it,
to know.
and here's the crazy thing. It's not for the part. I think maybe they sell the part for some amount of money, but it's because they're doing it from Priuses that are from 2013 and older, and mine's a 2011, because they build up platinum
Ooh, that's exciting.
in the muffler sort of thing that a catalytic converter is, and they scrape the platinum out, and that's the value of them. So they stole it. It costs $3,000 to replace.
Oh, wow. And insurance doesn't cover this at all.
They do, but I got my deductible,
Yeah.
and they rented me a Dodge Charger in the meantime. So I feel like a man for a change.
Because you're driving a big manly vehicle.
Yeah,
Do you enjoy it?
a lot.
Because people would say that someone who drives a Prius doesn't enjoy driving. Maybe just my old boss would say that. I don't know.
No, I enjoy driving, and I don't know why. My kids talked me into getting a Prius years ago, and then once you get it, you sort of feel like, how can I argue with this? It's good for the environment.
Right.
It's
I
just
love
a simple car.
I love the idea of never having to get gas.
You never get gas.
Because I have to get, well, Daniel does it. We barely drive at this point. But back when it was when we were normal and left the house and stuff, I hated getting gas.
Yeah.
So that's an argument for a Prius. So let me just see if I understand. They steal this catalytic converter, and then they scrape out the platinum and sell that. So like in the same way that if you buy a diamond, you might be buying a blood diamond. You're buying like, if you buy, is it for jewelry? Like someone's Prius?
Yeah, there's
ring?
there are Prius platinum rings right now. You could be wearing a wedding ring that was scraped out of my Prius.
That should make it cost extra.
I know.
You got the Fitzdog bump.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that happened. A lot of expenses.
Your mom has been in town. I know that today's your last day with her, right? How's it been going?
It's been going good. I love my mom. She's just so much fun. She's so helpful. She's so loving and effusive, and it's just been great. And she and my daughter really have a strong connection. They talk a lot, and they drink wine together, and they just.
Which one is driving that boat more? Is it grandma?
You mean drinking more or wanting to hang out more?
Drinking.
No, my daughter, we let her have one glass of wine every night. And while Pat's here, and then once she leaves, she's allowed to have maybe once a week, we'll let her have a beer or a glass of wine.
What do you guys call your mom?
Pat, her name's Pat. I don't know why, but Pat became her name when she became a grandmother.
That's so cute. Yes, I have mentioned that Elliot and Daniel's mom are really close, and watching them like makes my heart swell, because I didn't have a close relation. My mom's parents died when I was 6. My dad did not have a great relationship with they're both no longer here, but he didn't have a great relationship with them, so I never really did. And it's so sweet to see what a loving relationship with a grandparent can look like.
Wait, your grandparents both died when you were 6 at the same time?
3 weeks apart. They both had Isn't that crazy? They both had cancer, different kinds of cancer, and they died like within 3 weeks of each other. It was intense for my mom. I mean, it was not. I didn't love that period of time, but especially for my mom, she was like 31 or 32.
Oh, that's terrible.
She says that she had this feeling of like, even though she was married and had 2 kids, she was like, I'm an orphan.
Right.
Like that's a weird thing to, I think that was, I mean, how could it not be tough for her? But I remember it was sort of a like watershed moment for the family in terms of just being like how it was before and then how it was after. And then it was just this for years, like flying up, and the, all the stuff over the will and the boxes of stuff from their house arriving. And it was weird. I mean, I think I was young to watch all of that.
Was there fighting over the will?
A bit, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, isn't there always?
What was the fight?
Just the siblings who were somewhat estranged from each other, arguing over. Well, by the way, I don't think my mom would love me going into this, but this was so many years. It was 40 years ago. I can't imagine that I'm just going to say it anyway. Her parents set it up in this real unfair way. They favored one child, made that one like, the head of stuff.
No kidding.
And yeah. And I mean, I think when that happens, it's usually a continuation of how it was when everyone was alive too, where it's
Right.
like there's the favorite son. And so then it was just unfair, and then people got lawyers involved, and it was the whole thing. But my sense is that like I've heard a joke that's like, where there's a will, there's a family fighting over it. Like, isn't that just standard that this happens when there's a will?
I guess so. I mean, it especially gets complicated when there's a parent remarries, and then the original kids feel like, why are you guys taking my father or my mother's money? And like Erin's dad died, and his second wife has kids, and I think there's a question about where this money will go when she dies. Like, I don't know that it was written into a will, and they all love each other. They all get along great, but it also, you wonder if things will not go great if it push comes to. None of them are money conscious at all. I doubt it'll be a problem.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that the best way to approach it is, I don't expect anything. However,
yes, exactly.
But here's what happens. This is what I firmly believe happens. It isn't about the money. The money becomes a symbol of the love, and everyone's like fighting over their portion of the love. Right. I know that sounds real woo-woo, and I intended it to sound insightful. Things don't always go as planned. Listen, Greg, I have a shout out item, and I know that we haven't done shout out in so long.
Shout out!
Oh my gosh. In all these, that was deeper and more robust.
Yeah.
I like how it's changed.
Yeah, it's changed because it's been 2 years. If we keep doing it the same way for 2 years,
then we haven't grown.
Get predictable. No, we haven't grown. We got to shake it up.
Except that, like, when you go to see a band, you want to hear the hits,
Shout out!
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. There's this item called Boogie Bottoms No Rub Diaper Rash Spray. You would not need this for your children. They're way too old. However, Elliot never had a diaper rash. Owen gets diaper rashes sometimes. And I was looking for a better diaper cream than we have. And I found this stuff, and it's a spray, not an aerosol, but like a little, and it puts like a very fine mist of zinc, like diaper cream, but it's 20 or 25% zinc, which is, like the main.
So they won't get a sunburn on their asses.
Yes, that as well. And it really helped clear up his diaper rash. And so now I've been using it preventatively, and it's great because before we had a tub of diaper rash cream, or diaper cream is what they call it. And you'd have to like stick your finger in, and then it's like frosting a cake with your finger, the cake being the butt. And then you cannot get it off your finger. And it's just messy, and you can't get a fine coating of it. So this there are a few negative reviews. However, there's overwhelmingly positive reviews. Check it out. If it sounds good, check it out. It might not work for you, but it did work for us. And I bought it on Amazon, and it's around $10. It's a little bit expensive.
There you go.
The amount you get.
Very nice.
There you go. Shout out. We did it. And also, in honor of our 2nd year anniversary, I would like to read a couple wonderful and one not wonderful Apple Podcast reviews. Look, the people let us know how they feel.
Yeah.
And usually it's a 5-star situation, and that's our favorite. apple.co/childish. But listen, wherever you listen to the podcast, review us. Make sure you're subscribed. Okay. In Triptych says, great. Love this podcast. 4 exclamation points. Greg and Allison have a great chemistry, and their 2 different viewpoints are both refreshing and hilarious. His children are older and hers are younger, and it's a great chemistry. Thank you very much. That is so nice. Now, on the other hand, Augie333 says, and lest you think I only cherry pick ones that are kind to me, this one is not kind to me. Headline, Allison can't help herself. 2 stars. She has to talk politics. Why don't you start a political podcast and leave this show alone?
Yeah.
I had to. I guess I'll just go start a political podcast. Here's the thing, Greg. By the way, thank you all for your nice comments and even thank you for your shitty ones. I have noticed, I believe that I get more shit for talking politics on this show than you do. Because I'd say we're pretty neck and neck. Neither of us do it a lot. Some of us do it a little. Neither of us do it a lot. We both do it a little. And then I get shit.
Do you think there's an archetype of a female skewing more, should be less political than a man? Like a man should be in the town square like it's ancient Greece?
Yeah.
As a senator debating while the woman is at home sweeping and tending to the garden. Do you think that's what's underneath all of this?
I think they're like, hey, bitch, if you're talking...
Hey, I'm not done talking.
How can you fit a dick in your mouth with all those politics? I think is what's happening. I don't know. I hadn't thought of it specifically the way you said it. But I do think it is sexist. So...
Seems like it. I mean, look, when we talk politics, I think we're pretty much lockstep, which probably annoys people because we're not you know what? The truth is we're not a political podcast and we probably should just avoid talking about it. I think the last few months leading up to the election, it was very difficult to hold your tongue.
Exactly.
And I think as we go into the second year, I know that I have no interest in talking politics, reading about politics. I skim now. I used to go deep into reading about everything, and now I just feel like I'm burnt out. I need to shake all that negativity out and just be kind of focused on other things for a while.
Right. Yes, I agree. It got to a point where it felt like to not talk about it at all is to ignore what's happening in the world. But anyway, that's behind us. I just did an episode of my podcast with Allie McKay and Allie Siegel. It was an all Allison episode. And I found that we ended up talking about television, like shows that we're watching a lot. And I was thinking today, that feels so 2020. Like that's because it's on my Thursday show. We typically talk about what's going on in our lives. And it's like, what's going on in our lives is we're all delving into different shows.
Yeah, absolutely. My life is TV right now. I watch 3 to 4 hours of TV every night. And that's not like me. I was never like that.
Right. No, you're a book guy. You're
I'm a book guy. I'm a New Yorker. I read the New Yorker. I read the New York Times. I listen to books. I read books. I masturbate furiously.
To books?
To books. That's why I don't lend them to people.
Why are the pages stuck together like that?
Right?
You'd have to use an oil painting knife to get them moving.
And you can always tell when the book is like, it's leading up to, and she went into the bedroom. Biff welcomed her lovingly. Go to turn the page. Nothing. You can't chisel that next page open.
Right.
You know exactly where it's going to happen.
You know, yeah. Of course, I want to ask what you're watching, but I'm wondering if instead we should do some news.
Let's do a 1-minute recap of what we're watching. I watched The Crown. I watched the entire season 4 of The Crown. And it just once again reaffirmed my hate for the British as demonstrated by their fucking tolerance of a royal family that's just a bunch of cold ass monarchs trying to perpetuate some kind of a divine rule. And I don't know why anybody lets $1 of their tax money go to fund these fucking nitwits. So, but that being said, I love Princess Diana and I hate what they did to her. And watch season 4, but understand there's warnings. There's warnings at the beginning of certain episodes that you you may be triggered by an eating disorder. They show her eating disorder, and they warn you that you might be triggered by it.
Were you?
No. God,
well, what does she do? Does she bulimic? Is she anorexic?
Fucking eats and throws up. So what? Get over it. I mean, what else are we going to warn people about?
Oh, they
have an affair. They have an affair. We don't want you to be triggered by that. You know,
to have an affair.
the queen's a cunt. We don't want to be triggered by that.
Cunt warning.
Yeah.
So I watched Queen's Gambit.
Oh.
It was good, right? Except
I
feel like it's got many a flaw, but it was very entertaining and very watchable.
Yes. It's very flawed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, you mentioned the New Yorker. I read an article in the New Yorker today about Queen's Gambit, which I really agreed with, which is kind of comparing it to the book and talking about how in the series, she's so beautiful and so self-assured that you never doubt whether she's going to make it, and like there's no stakes. And I tend to agree with that. But this is our 1 minute recap. And now Daniel and I are watching The Undoing. No spoilers, please, with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant. And I am so into it. How does Nicole Kidman have no lines on her face? Like,
I know it's unbelievable.
She's had a lot of work done, obviously. However, it doesn't look bad. It looks good. And I feel I didn't know that it could be that way.
I met her once. I did the Tonight Show the same night as her. And she was backstage and she had a fucking entourage like you couldn't believe. You know, gay guys with makeup brushes. And she floated through the air. She was a vision. She glowed. So pale white. And her eyes just pop. And you can't even speak. It's just like, what is this ethereal thing? So, all right. So that's our TV.
That's yes. Well, Dakota, Daniel said he saw her in person and she is like a bird, like the teensiest, tiniest, but tall.
No, tall. I was going to say she's not tiny. She's
like an emu.
Yeah.
he meant super, like just so thin.
Yeah. But her face is like, it's haunting how perfect her face is.
Well, this series is good.
Can't wait to watch it.
I think I recommend it. Watch out though, there's spoilers. I think it's already been spoiled for me.
All right.
All right, let's do some news. Let's listen to our song. Here we go.
Time for the news.
All right. What do
you like,
Greg?
kids? I know you do. You co-host a show called Childish. Well, this couple, Maxine and Jake, who live in Reading, PA, adopted 4 siblings, which is
so
very
nice.
sweet.
Yeah.
They were fostering them, and the kids said that their dream was to be their Christmas wish was that they could be adopted by Christmas, and so the family did. And so it was very sweet. The courts were backed up, but they kind of made some exceptions and they got them through. And that week, Maxine discovered she was pregnant with quadruplets.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep. 8 kids. So obviously the foster kids were a bit older, but they fucking love the babies. They care for them. You got to see the pictures. All these people are so happy.
The foster kids taking care. It's like they adopted a support staff.
Yes. Well, they're
it's
not that old. They're young. I mean, the adopted kids are, I guess anywhere from like 4 to 10 range.
They can take care of babies.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Well, that's sweet. Now, I have questions that I suspect you can't answer, but I will ask them anyway. If she found out she was pregnant with quadruplets, was she doing any fertility stuff? Do you know?
Well, maybe that's why they were adopting, is because they were having fertility issues and doing inseminations. Inseminations?
That's part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so insemination is called IUI, intrauterine insemination, and then there's also like a transfer where they actually put embryos in. I doubt they would put 4 embryos in, though. That's so
right. So they banged out, but I just feel like anybody that fosters older kids deserves a place in heaven, whether they believed in heaven or not, or they were shitty people besides that. Give them a spot at the table, because that is some heroic shit. Yeah. I know a couple people that have fostered and then adopted older kids, and it is not an easy road.
Mm-mm.
These kids have had a really rough time, and they have a hard time bonding and trusting, and there's a lot of anger. And one family I know, the kid ended up committing suicide at 23 after they raised him through, I think I might have talked about it on the
Yeah, it was your
podcast.
low. Yeah, I remember because
Yeah.
it really, really outclassed my low when I was angry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right.
So anyway, God bless these people and good luck to them.
That is a heartwarming story. I hope they have a large house and a lot of car seats. So there is a post that went viral that I am looking for right now. Okay. It is by someone who whose online name is Chronicles of Daddy. And the headline is, I take my daughter to the girls' bathroom. And he has I think it's a 1-year-old daughter, maybe she's a little bit older, but he wrote this whole thing about how, as a father, when you take your daughter who needs help going to the bathroom out in public, normally you use what are designated as family bathrooms, but sometimes you'll go to a place where they don't have a family bathroom.
Right.
So what do you do? So he took her to the men's bathroom the first time, and it was so disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
And so not set up to, like, basically the changing table was right next to a urinal. So some dude
and a
would
urinal, it's like, I don't know what happens to men. They unzip their fly. Not only does urine come out, but pubic hairs seem to spring from the groin and attach themselves to the edges of the urinal. And it's the same with the toilet seat. It looks like a fur collar. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, what's happening? Is
I
it
don't
like
know.
the velocity with which you're ripping off your pants, whipping
It
down
could
your
be some
pants?
scritching. Sometimes you scritch while
Oh,
urinating, and that
okay.
could loosen them up a little bit.
Right. I say, give them a good comb through at home. Leave
I'll tell you what
those
else
extra
it
hairs
is.
at home.
And this might be graphic, but this is childish.
Yeah, we are graphic.
When
We're
you go to
graphic.
urinate at a urinal, there may be a man next to you, and there's a sense there may be a man soon next to you.
Mm.
And so if you have mushroomed, which is the shaft has shrunken and truncated, you will often get your fingers on the crown and give it a stretch. You stretch it out, and you get a little blood flowing, so you're more presentable should a gentleman look at you.
So
and I think while doing that, you may be pulling some hairs loose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get this straight. And just taking a moment. Naturally, your penis may look like a mushroom and be little.
Yeah.
However, and so that's the natural state when you're not aroused.
Well, no, it can be. It depends on the temperature. It depends on your activity, what kind of pants you're wearing, the weather.
Do all men have a propensity to mushroom?
Any man can mushroom at any time.
Okay. So you got shrinkage is what you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? So you're saying...
I'm talking about sometimes it's so bad, like the shaft can leave. It can go away. Like all the flesh...
It just climbs inside your body.
Goes inside your body, and all that's left is... It's like the crown sitting on the balls. It looks like a bald guy with hairy shoulders.
And, sort of like one of those travel cups that you like were popular like
That's
20
exactly
years
right.
ago.
Yep.
And they always just collapsed on themselves.
Yes.
They never worked.
Yeah.
So it like you have like a telescoping penis.
Yeah.
So you, in order to feel like a manly man next to a stranger you're urinating, you got to like telescope your penis. And in doing so, you might pull out some pubic hairs. This all makes sense.
It's like, have you ever stretched a balloon before blowing it up so that it can get bigger?
Sure.
It's a little bit like that. You're stretching it out.
Yeah.
And also men don't always groom that well. So there may be a forest down there and the turtle may be burrowed in the forest. So there needs to be a reaching in and an extraction and then, and thus loosing some hairs anywhere. They could land anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, my dog, if you just pet her, you loosen, so she just sheds.
Yeah.
So it might be like that.
Right.
Right.
And I do say good boy sometimes when I'm scritching.
Do you Does anyone ever see you do this? Or is it like so fast? It's like sleight of hand.
It's very fast. It's very fast. You unzip and you give it a good stretch, and you might roll your shoulders. And I just act like you're getting acclimated to the urinal. My friend Jackie Flynn's, here's his move. Is he you know how there's a wall, sometimes a partition between the urinals?
Okay.
Well, there is.
I believe you.
He will stand at the urinal next to you while you're peeing, and then he'll knock on it and go, "Don't you hate these things?"
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Okay. This is what this dad says. Now I lost my spot. I'm a professional. Now I've been to a men's bathroom millions of times, but walking in with your daughter makes you look at it completely different. Men's bathrooms are, all caps, disgusting. They smell like pee and nothing is set up for a woman or a person with a child. The changing table was right next to the urinal, which means my child literally would be next to where men pee while she's being changed. Not to mention there's men going in. So anyway, it's super gross is what he's saying. That's no place for a young daughter. So from now on, he takes her into the women's bathroom. But what he does is, to be respectful, is when he goes in, he announces, "I'm a father. I'm bringing my daughter in because she needs to use the bathroom." And then if he's in the stall with her and he hears someone come in, he says it again, "Just letting you know, I'm a father. I'm in here with my daughter," which really sounds both respectful and exhausting. So, yeah. And this has gone viral. Like lots of people are talking about this. What did you do with JoJo?
Oh God, what did I do with JoJo? I mean, I've gone into bathrooms that lock, like a Starbucks bathroom where you have the thing to yourself, but I don't recall ever taking her into a men's bathroom or her coming with me or me going with her into a women's.
Right. I take
no, I don't
Elliot. I can't, like with Elliot, what's more common is you just take them into the bathroom that you yourself would use. So like I would take Elliot and Owen into I think I've like never taken Owen into a bathroom in public.
I can see that. I can see that being more comfortable. I don't see, I mean, the thing is about urinals is there's a lot of different kinds of urinals. Like I said, you got partitions between some of them. You've got, some are even in stalls. And then some of them are just strapped against the wall all next to each other with no partitions. And then you've got some that are troughs, just like troughs, and you pee against the wall and all that. And so I wouldn't bring a girl into one where it's sort of like a free range situation where you're gonna see cocks and balls, and crowns and shafts, and then you don't want your daughter seeing that. So I think you got to scout it out before you take her in.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So I just did an Adam and Eve spot on my show. It's a sex adult toy superstore, but I kept saying adult toy superstar. I did it like I'm like, okay, you guys.
Yeah.
Number one, adult toy super, like 4 times.
Yeah.
And then finally, that'll be cut out. But anyway, here's my question. I was looking online ahead of time. There's an item called a ball spreader. And it's like, but this is a parenting podcast, but we also talk about sex because how did children get here? And it's like, it goes around your penis and then it's like a bra for your balls.
I love it.
What, can you explain this to me? I mean, from reading, my sense is that it like increases sensation because I don't quite understand why your balls need this support.
Now, is this only used during sex or is this worn around?
Oh, I think it's during sex.
I can see that. I mean, the cradling of the balls while lovemaking is a very, very sensual thing. It's wonderful when a woman can get her hand down there and just cup. It doesn't even have to move. Just cup and maybe a little. What would you call this movement? Massaging, like a light massage.
Little palpating.
Yeah. That's a real nice thing. So I can see strapping them into a bra type of thing, and it would make them feel held and loved.
Greg, are you wearing a bangle bracelet?
No.
Why is this so weird? People in the chat room, lovely people in the chat room, are you guys hearing a little bit of Greg jangle? Maybe if not, then I'm losing my mind, and that's fine. I thought it was when you were lifting your arm up. Yeah, I'm hearing it again.
Really?
Yeah.
So weird. It's so funny because, and I don't move much, and I will try not to. I had Kyle Kinane on my podcast last week, and at a certain point, he stopped and he goes, "I think we're frozen." And I was like, "No, that's just how I am on podcasts." He's like, "Just blink your eyes once in a while. Give me a fucking break. Let me know you're alive."
Okay. Amy Abad says, yes, sounds like a cat collar. Oh, but Edie Rindle says no. Well, that's weird that some are hearing it and some aren't. Anyway, moving on. I think that I am interested in life insurance, but I don't know where to go.
Where do you go? The thing is where do you go? You need somebody to tell you where to go. And you want that person to be free and not cost you any money and be an expert in the life insurance field so they can direct you to a company that will give you the best deal and will, and so look.
But I don't think a place like that exists. That sounds too amazing.
It sounds like you would need a genius.
Yeah.
Like a policy genius.
Yes.
And people are saving 50% or more. They compare life insurance. And look, life insurance, I got it when the kids were born. And I think I got 25-year policies or so. You can get 20-year policies. It doesn't matter. It's flexible. You figure it out with them. But when you do, the savings can really add up because you're going to have it for, it could be 10 years. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. But it's this time of year, you need to be thinking about saving money because a lot of us are under a pandemic. The holiday season is coming. Here's a great way to there's almost nothing I feel better about financially in my life that knowing that, and my dad died at 53. And I wanted to know that if I died, my family was going to be taken care of. My dad had great health insurance. It allowed my mom to live a comfortable life. It allowed us to live a comfortable life. He had a nice big policy and it's not as much as you would think. So I would go to policygenius.com. And in minutes, they work out how much coverage you need. You compare quotes, and it can start as little as like $1 a day. You might even be able to skip the in-person medical exam. It's really easy. And the best part is, you know how things always turn into a paperwork nightmare with red tape? They deal with that for you.
I love it.
Why wouldn't you do this? They've got a 5-star rating across 1,600 reviews on Trustpilot and Google. If you have loved ones who depend on your income, don't go into 2021 without life insurance. Go to policygenius.com and get started. You could save 50% or more by comparing quotes and start the new year with one less thing to worry about. Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right.
Lovely. Okay, we in the chat room have determined that it might be your earbud mic rubbing against your collar.
Oh.
Do some rubbing.
It is a little twisted up. Let me unplug that.
There, this is going to make all the difference.
Okay, and so I got it loosened up a little.
Okay, we'll see. You know, we are at, Pete cut this out. We're at 49 minutes, 29 seconds. And we haven't even done highs or lows or anything yet.
All right, well, why don't we bang out highs and lows, skip the Instagram.
Okay.
Do 2 notes and call it a wrap.
Sounds good to me. All right. You know, Greg,
yeah.
I think we should do highs and lows. Let me play the thing.
Lows.
I'd like to remind people, if you want to see our pretty faces, Greg's wearing a matching hat and sweater. I'm wearing a new shirt. YouTube.com/Allison Rosen is where this will live. Okay. Would you like to start?
No, I started last time. You start.
Okay, I'll start. My high was Elliot told me about a dream he had, and he is 3.5. Well, he'll be 4 in February, so he's 3.5. And this is the very first time it's been a dream that's like a human dream, like a normal human dream. Usually up till now, when I say, what'd you dream about? He says butterflies and fruit salad, or he says rainbows or pumpkins and ghosts. But
oh
like,
man, don't you wish you could go back to that point in your
yes,
life where you're
but
so pure?
I know. But
Oh,
like a lot of like, I mean, the first thing he ever dreamt about was fruit. Like every night he dreamt about fruit salad.
yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, was he really having dreams about fruit salad? Like, or is this just what he thinks dreaming is? But anyway, he told me that he had a dream. Hang on one second. He had a dream that we were at Grandma and Grandpa's house, but it wasn't their house. It was a different house. And then he was on a bed, and then he was talking to Mommy and Daddy, and then we turned into bricks. And then we turned into bricks, and then we turned into robots. And then his cousin was in a Rocky from Paw Patrol costume, which is what his costume was for Halloween.
Uh-huh.
And his younger cousin was in a pineapple costume, which it was. But anyway, it was just, I don't know. There was something so like sweet and interesting about the fact that that tiny little brain and that tiny little head like has the same makeup as ours, and dreams are so constant. Right.
Yeah, and it really is beautiful when you think about the complicated dreams you have as an adult. It almost seems like smoke going up a dirty chimney that needs to be cleaned.
Right.
And theirs is just an aluminum pipe with just brand new, it's sparkling. And the thoughts and the images are they're just floating. It's beautiful.
Right. It was really neat. It felt very much like a rite of passage. Like, this is the first real dream he remembered.
That's great that he remembers them. That's amazing. Yeah. You should write them down. Write them down.
I know. I intend to.
You got the book, right? I gave you the book.
Yes, I have the book. But I think I'm going to start a computer document because I'm not a real good at longhand person.
So modern.
Yours?
My high was my mom and I played golf 3 times. She's been out here for 2 weeks. We played golf 3 times. And there's always a lot of betting with my friends. We have we bet on the score for each hole, which is called a skin, because if the best 2 scores tie, that the money on that carries over to the next hole. There's closest to the pin on par 3s. There's a barkey, which means if you hit a tree but you still make a par, you get $1 for that. Sandies, if you hit out of the sand trap and you make a par, you get $1 for that.
Did you invent these names like barkies, or is this a golf thing?
No, we make them all up. But we've been playing them for 15 years. You got a Murphy means if you're off the green and you call that you're going to make it in 2 from off the green, that's a Murph. There's a Suichi. There's a million. And my mom watched us play 2 rounds of calling these bets nonstop, constant. And we all carry a pocket full of silver dollars because at the end of each hole you pay out all the bets. So you've got one guy throwing $2 to this guy, another guy's throwing $4 to this guy, and so it's hilarious. And so my mom didn't want to bet, but she's a good golfer. She's been playing forever. She plays like 2 or 3 days a week, but she doesn't hit it very far. And so so we played this morning, and I said, "Mom, come on, we're going out there. We're gonna have some fun. Why don't you just bet? And I'll give you some coins." She was nervous, and so they gave her some shots, which means like they'll cut one of your shots off your score on a given hole if it's a hard hole. And she walked out of there with a pocket full of money today. She was on fire. She was sinking 40-foot putts, chipping it right up to the flag. She was hitting every shot straight up the middle. She'd never played better. She was in her prime, and everybody loved her.
Go Pat.
Love my mom. She's so much fun, and she's so sweet. And and she made some dough. 78 years old.
That's so cool. Isn't this really heavy walking around with silver dollars? And where do you guys even get these?
My friend Matt Malloy, who started most of these bets, he's Captain Fun. He is he's a big gambler, and so he gets them from Las Vegas, where you play the slot machines, and there's silver dollars. And then people just started going to the bank. You can get them from certain banks. It's hard to find them in banks.
Yeah.
But you can get some.
Well, that sounds like a really good high.
Yeah. What was your low, Allison?
My low, I had this like crazy, I'm fine now, but crazy downward spiral of confidence and self-worth. It started with, I thought that I had imposter syndrome, which I've experienced that feeling before. And I'm like, what is, and I looked it up, and like imposter syndrome means that you feel like you're not worthy of your, like your station and your job and the accolades that have come to you. And I'm like, oh no, it's not that. I feel like I'm worthless. I've accomplished nothing in my life. Like I've wasted my time. Who am I? What am I doing? Like, I don't normally have that. I don't normally feel worthless. And what happened is I did an interview. I felt like it didn't go well. And it just like triggered this complete downward spiral. And then I listened back and I'm like, oh, I was wrong. It actually was a good interview. It was so insane. But I just feel like that is what this pandemic has done. It is like creating so much time to think and ruminate. And I don't know, it was weird. Like I really, we talk about it, you and I talk about it, like we both deal with depression, but that kind of like suddenly I really felt like I'm like a joke and I'm worthless and I've done nothing with my life. Like I haven't experienced that ever. It was very weird.
Wow.
But then I came out of it.
Hey, look, this pandemic's doing a number on everybody because we're not accomplishing as much as we normally do. We're not interacting with people that are maybe making us feel like we have a place in the world. And you got too much goddamn time to think. And I can see that. I felt that way. And it really is, it's tough to snap out of, I'm sure. So,
Right.
So how do you think what do you think helped most in coming out of it?
I had therapy. It was the kind of thing where I knew that when I'm like, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to feel a lot better, because it happened at a time where I was already overtired and like a little bit overworked and depleted. And then I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh, I was wrong. I still feel that way. But then like by that next night, it was kind of gone. I think talking to Daniel, honestly, I think listening back to the interview, well, my producer gave me his feedback on it, and on that episode, and it was positive, and that turned it around a bit. And then I listened and I was like, oh, this was actually like a really good interview. I don't understand. I don't know why I had such a distorted feeling about it. And then I think I just started feeling better. But I think also it's sort of like weight loss, where at the beginning, and you probably don't know what I'm talking about, being a naturally super skinny Irish person.
I know, it's great.
But at the beginning, you look in the mirror, or some days you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I look great. I see the weight I've lost. And then some days you look in the mirror and you're like, all I can see is how far I have to go. Like, I don't even see. And it was kind of like that. Like, I was comparing myself to people who were incredibly successful. And I'm like, compared to them, I'm a no one, as opposed to like comparing myself to, as opposed to not even engaging in that kind of comparison.
Right.
But the whole time with this realization that like my value isn't supposed to come from what I've from out external stuff. I don't know. It was a weird dip, but I'm fine now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can look at it as a dip, and you can also look at it as what you go through psychically in life, and that there's times you have to look at the dark side a little bit, and you have to brush up against it and go, oh yeah, I'm going to choose not to be that. Because some people can't break out of that. Some people live their lives in that state. And I think so once in a while you need to take a little look at it, stare it down, and then move on with your life.
Yeah, I mean, and I also think that those kind of things, they are good for helping you figure out what direction you want to go. It just got darker and deeper than I had. Like, really, I think darker and deeper than I've never felt worthless. Thank God I've never felt worthless before.
Yeah, right.
So It was very much like I felt like I was staring into an abyss. It was very weird.
Wow.
Yeah. Yours?
Wow, you think yours was bad? Wait till you hear mine.
Did someone die?
A whole family that lives next door to us. No,
oh
just
no.
kidding.
Okay. Oh my God.
The chimney. It was the chimney.
Oh no.
And it was Thanksgiving night. No, my low was I played poker. We played poker like 4 or 5 times since my mom's been here. My kids love it. My mom plays poker in Florida like 1 or 2 nights a week. And I'm a good poker player. I play with the boys. I've got a regular game that I play with the boys. And I got blown out every game. I could not get a decent fucking hand. And I was losing. Look, we were playing for not a lot of money, but I was losing all the money. And my goddamn mother was piling it up. My wife was piling it up. Everybody was making money except for me.
They're all stealing from you, Greg.
They're stealing from me. And the worst part is my kids are fucking winning money from me. The money they're playing with is money I've given them. How is that a game? How is this fun for me? Yeah, that was my low.
Okay.
All right, listen, let's get to a couple pieces of mail.
Let's do it.
Let's say goodbye to our second anniversary episode.
Yeah. Wait, hang on.
Oh, yeah.
You wrote.
All right, let's hear some mail.
Jill Brandween said that my high school had a scavenger hunt that sounds very similar to the one Greg described his daughter was supposed to take part in on Halloween. My experience with those does not bring back rosy memories. Don't know how it is for JoJo, but in our school, it was kind of just for the popular kids, a kind of wild senior year tradition. My brother was in the popular kids clubs, but I definitely was not. There were the same kind of things on the list: a naked handstand somewhere in our town, take a shot with another teammate's parents, kiss another teammate's sibling, and all had to be documented with photos. On the night of my brother's road rally, I was at home alone when the phone rang. My brother frantically told me to get outside on the driveway. They screech out and get out of the car. Before I know it, I've been kissed by other male members of my brother's team and had it photographed, and they were all back in the car and screeched off as fast as they had arrived. No one else knew, but that was my first kiss. Jill.
That doesn't sound great. That doesn't sound like she enjoyed that.
No, these senior scavenger hunts have to stop. They have to stop.
I'm on board for that.
You know,
stopping.
Mike Gibbons, who's my best friend, his daughter and my daughter are very close friends, as were, by the way, me and Mike's dads.
I know. So
friends.
sweet.
And so I think I told Mike that JoJo was going with Sophie, and I believe Mike told Sophie she couldn't go because she totally flaked on JoJo and just like didn't return her text, didn't show up, and then later made some lame excuse. And so JoJo ended up not going because she didn't have a partner to go with. And I have a little resentment towards Mike about that.
Have you talked to Mike about it?
No.
Why don't you?
I don't know. Maybe I should.
Is it not like that with your best friend?
I don't know. Stuff? Yeah, felt judged. I felt a little judged.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would want to know what happened. I would want to know. I don't want to get
involved. See, because I don't want to get involved. It's their thing.
Right.
It's their thing. And I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong.
Ask JoJo to ask Sophie if Mike Gibbons told Sophie that she couldn't go. I'm just kidding. It was a joke.
Yeah.
It was the most indirect. Yeah, I get it. Well, you know what? Maybe he'll hear this episode.
It is funny though that that's why movies like 16 Candles were so great for kids to see. Just to see that like things like the prom and things like, graduation night are not really for everybody.
Yeah.
For some people, prom night means you've never been on a date, you've never kissed anybody, you're insecure, and now all of a sudden you're expected to be joyous and come down the stairs in a gown and like have somebody who you really kind of crush on take you. And it's like for some people, that's just not their life.
Right. Certainly was not my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
More mail?
Let's do one more. This one says, you want to go deep or you want to go light?
Let's go light.
Okay. Greg, on the second latest episode, you explained your confirmation name, which was a great backstory. Just if people didn't hear it, when you get confirmed as a Catholic, you choose a name of a saint. And I talked about Saint Sebastian. who was a martyr, who was shot full of arrows and did not renounce his faith in the Lord Jesus Christ.
What a lesson we could
What a
all
guy.
learn. Yeah.
What a guy.
In martyrdom.
I luckily got a lot out of Catholicism before going through that malarkey, but I have always loved the story of Saint Lawrence of Rome, a contemporary of Sebastian. Long story short, he was martyred by being tied to a giant grill and roasted alive. His last words allegedly were, "Turn me over, I'm done on this side," which cemented his status as patron saint of cooks and comedians, among many others. And this is from Young Richard. Young Richard. Yes, my real first name. All one word, Young Richard.
Do you think they called them Larry and Seb? Lawrence and Sebastian, if they were contemporaries?
Yo, what's up, Larry? Captain Seb.
And then suddenly they're both gone.
My parents used to call me Seb after I got confirmed. What's
up, really?
Seb? Yeah.
Did you like it?
Loved it.
I know of someone with a baby named Sebastian who calls him Seb.
Maybe that should be a tattoo I get. Should I get Saint Sebastian? He was tied to a tree and shot full of arrows. Should I get that on my calf?
Sure. Now you would get like the tree, him on it, and arrows in his body.
Everything. Blood.
The whole thing.
Blood
I like it.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah. Now your first tattoo though is going to be like an Irish symbol, right?
Yes. The harp.
And then your second is going to be Saint Sebastian.
Saint Sebastian.
And then your third is going to be the Childish logo.
Yes.
I love it.
And then maybe Dogtown. I think I might get a Dogtown one also.
Love it.
Yeah.
Listen, if you would like to get in touch with us, we love to hear from you. We play voicemails on the show. The number is 805-317-4243. You can email us, childishpod@gmail.com. Follow us on social media. We're fun on there. At childishpod. No. Yes. Just childishpod on Twitter, childishpod on Instagram. We're childishpod.com. That's where you can find all this information if it went by too fast. And listen to my other podcasts. I just have one, but it comes out twice a week. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Allison Rosen. I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/Allison Rosen. And I'm on Cameo. And Greg is too. And Greg, what would you like to let them know about?
Well,
oh my gosh, look at that shirt.
These t-shirts, Grapefruit Simmons t-shirts, available small, medium, large, extra large, on sale until Christmas.
Wow.
10% off. Go to fitzdog.com and get yourself a Fitzdog, a Grapefruit Simmons t-shirt. Also, don't forget Sunday Papers every Sunday with Mike Gibbons, whose daughter is not hanging out with my daughter on certain nights. And that'll do it. Oh, and I just want to say for the holidays, if you want to donate some money for people in need, and a lot of people right now, welfare benefits, unemployment benefits are going to run out at the end of the year. There's a lot of people in need. Los Angeles is in terrible shape. There's an organization called the People Concern, and you can go to thepeopleconcern.org and you can donate some money. You can find out where you can drop off some food all over LA. There's a bunch of different spots you can drop off food, or you want to maybe serve a meal. You can get contact them about serving a meal.
I love it. And that's called the People Concern?
The People Concern.
Wonderful. Greg, I think we did it again.
We did it again. Yeah. So we'll do it more. We'll do it for another 2 years, and then we'll talk about upping our contracts.
Our boss is tough to work for.
I just hope they don't recast either one of us.
I know.
Let's make a pact right now. If one of us gets fired, the other one walks.
That's right. Favored nations.
Yes.
But then they'll just come out with like a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old. They won't even have kids, and they'll host Childish. I don't like that one bit.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to wait about 15 years, and they're going to have Elliot and JoJo take over.
Oh, that I would be okay with.
Yes.
Because we'll get points on the back end.
I'll be ready to retire at that point anyway.
That's right.
All right, Allison, congrats on 2 years. And,
thank you, same.
I love it. I love working with you. You're the best.
Same.
And we'll catch you next time. I'm Greg Fitzsimmons.
I'm Allison Rosen.
And we are
Childish. Okay, I have turned that off.
That's
and
off.
now I will turn the recording off. Or I guess I didn't turn on the recording. Oh, well, not important. Okay, are we going to go into the chat room real fast?
Yeah.
Let's do it. And then, since this is coming out tomorrow, Greg, you and I need to write up the thing to send to Pete. Okay. Looking at the chat room. What a robust chat room. Sacagawea coins.
Now, when I do it, all right, I'm going to go to Allison Rosen.
Yeah. And Knight Elliott. That's funny.
YouTube. There we go. There's us live.
Mm-hmm. So then in the chat, you know what? Why am I on top chat? I want to be on live chat. Okay.
All right, and then I'm going to, what do I hit so that I can hear?
Well, you don't need to
Top
hear.
chat.
Live chat.
Live chat. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So you can see. Now you can see the chat room. Hi, everyone. We are here in the chat room. I'm looking at your comments. If you have any comments
What does
for
this
them.
mean? T. Fuller says, not childish-ish. What other celebs were wow to Greg besides AJ? Who's AJ?
I thought you talked about Nicole Kidman.
Oh, Angelina Jolie.
Oh, yeah.
I talked about Nicole Kidman. She was pretty fantastic. And as far as females, Julia Roberts, who my wife was, she was her assistant for many years in New York. So I got to know her pretty well. And she is absolutely just the sweetest person. So stunning. So much like the person in the room that you can't stop looking at. It's kind of distracting, but she's disarming. She just wants to talk to you. She's very sweet. So yeah.
There are certain celebs where you meet them in person, or for me, you see them when they do a podcast, and it's like, oh, I get it now. I get why you're super famous. Like you are, or why you're, why you do what you do, because you really like, they just connect with you and they make you feel special, and they have in their dynamic and like super attractive and buy in.
Yeah. A lot of people made notes when we were talking about the mushroom and the penis size.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was fair in the post show to see where I'm at.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding. Come on.
My enemy wrote Angeloni, and I love that because that is a reference to you, the way you botched Angelina's name a few times.
Oh, right.
Angeloni. Fitz, when does your Ellen NDA expire?
Right
ever?
now.
For real?
No. I don't know. I'm sort of not taking it as seriously as I used to. I feel like the cat's out of the bag, the cow's out of the barn, the bitch is out of the barn. And so people talk about it. I mean, I feel like it's kind of been covered now. Just everything you've heard is true. There was no hyperbole.
Was she ever, I don't know if you can answer. I was gonna say, was she ever mean to you?
Yes. Yeah, very much so.
Did it make you feel worthless?
I mean, it wasn't my whole life. I think it's difficult when you're starting out in the business and your whole identity is in this amazing opportunity where everybody wants to work on this show and this is going to be the thing that gets you launched. I was at a point where I'd already been doing stand-up for 10 years. No, more than that. About 10 years. And I'd had luck in other areas, and so I wasn't solely counting on the job. And so I don't think it affected me as much. I really felt bad for the people that were, PAs and people that were really kind of pushed around more.
Right. This has been fun, you guys. Thank you so much for showing up and for typing and being there and telling your friends what you're going to do, I'm sure. Any last words, Greg?
Yeah, thanks. I love this additional part of the show. I love
Yeah.
being on this little chat. It's
It's
great to
super
look at.
fun. Yeah. Thank you
And
guys.
we look forward to talking to you in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
All
Have
right.
a good one, everyone.